Hello and welcome to Islanders Anxiety from Lighthouse Hockey and the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Dan Saracini. Joining me on this Sunday evening via Zencaster is my friend Michael Leboff. And Mike, we are through the first round of the NHL playoffs with Montreal eliminating Tampa Bay today in a 2-1 win in Game 7, despite being outshot 29-9, which is objectively hilarious. Other than the Hurricanes being 5-0 in these playoffs, I would say that I've actually very much enjoyed them so far. Been pretty dramatic. How are you enjoying the playoffs so far with the Islanders? Well out of it, but bunch of good games we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the only team that I wanted to win in the East that won was Philly.
Mm.
Um, and the Hurricanes thing is so annoying, more than anything. But what's funny about the Canes is that we've seen this movie so many times
Oh
where
my
they do
god,
this
yeah.
and they're shot out of a cannon, and like they're doing the na stuff at everyone, and then they lose, and so hopefully that's still to come. Um,
Mm.
I if this was like the first time they were doing something like this, I could see them being, puffing their chest out a bit and enjoying it. Um, but if I was them, I'd be like, why are we acting like this when we're, we've pasted teams in the first round 8 years
Right.
in a row, and then a lot of times we win in the second round unless we play the Rangers, and then the third round is where things really go awry. Why don't we wait till that we get past that to
Mm.
do the shtick.
Right.
But yeah, I like the Canadian series didn't go the way I wanted it to, but I will say the game on that 0-0 game the other night that
Oh,
went
the
to overtime.
Flyers.
No,
Yeah.
the Lightning game 6.
Oh, right. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
that was that was just an incredible watch. I mean, it really reminded me a lot of the Islanders Lightning series,
Right.
because it was just these 2 teams kind of playing near perfect, like, game management style hockey against one
Mm.
another, and, um, it really made me miss having the Islanders in the playoffs, I think, for the first time, and yeah, I mean, we're we're now, almost a month out from, like, the Islanders kind of just choking and spitting the bit, right? And I thought, like, being that distance away, I'd kinda just, like, get over it, but every time I turn them on, I'm reminded of
Yeah.
something, like, tonight seeing Dobson out there was more pain, and the fact that he gets through, he's like, he comes in for game 7, and they get through on 2 lucky bounces on 9 shots on goal. I was like, "Ah."
Mm.
It's just a reminder that, like, the pain will just follow you around until they play again, which is,
Yeah.
frustrating.
Right. And then it'll be a whole new different kind of pain.
Yeah.
uh, this Christmas, my wife gave me an Islanders calendar, and I knew it was coming because I saw him on the back of the calendar. But it happened today. I flipped it over. Yes, I know it's May 3rd, but I didn't. I wasn't in my office here for a couple of days. Flipped it over, and who is this month's poster boy? Noah Dobson. And I knew that he was coming back in the lineup, and I'm like, well, he's going to have 2 goals tonight. He did not, but he did have a nice defensive play towards the end, and Eddie Olczyk was talking him up, and Kenny Albert is like, at one point he had the puck at the sort of top of the key or the top of the zone, and Eddie Albert's like, Noah Dobson, the former New York Islander,
Yep.
which is true, but totally useless information. Like, it's just, I think he was just sort of like, rubbing it in. But I know Kenny Albert's not like that, but it just kind of sounded funny. Like, nobody cares that he used to play for the Islanders. Like, half of the guys in this game played for somebody else beforehand. So Corey Perry's half a former everything at this point. So, but it was, yeah, there's a lot of like, really this again. But I mean, we went over that last week, particularly with the Flyers series who have, they've moved on, beating the Penguins, which is kind of cool. But yeah, there's a lot to still be bitter about, but we're going to move on. We have a bunch of topics here. So we're going to do this sort of pardon the interruption style and kind of just go down the list. Some of the things that I forgot to mention last week. Before we do that, reminder that we are on Patreon, patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety. The poll for Weirdest Islander of the Year is still up right now. You have until midnight Tuesday to vote. It's a public post. You don't need to be a member. You can just go there and pick your who you think is the weirdest Islander of the year. We have a runaway winner so far, of course, but we always do talk about the honorable mentions and the runners up in our Weirdest Islander of the Year episode, which will come out on the day of the draft. So every vote counts. So get over there, patreon.com/IslandersAnxiety, and vote for your Weirdest Island of the Year. Also, reminder, you can become a free member to get into our sweepstakes. You can win a customized Islanders jersey, Islanders varsity jacket, or a t-shirt or hoodie from vintageicehockey.com. The jerseys and jacket are courtesy of the Pinot Project. I thought this was kind of implied, but maybe it's not. So just to be clear, you can become a free member. You'll get our weekly release calendar, but you need to be a free member when the drawing happens, which is on July 2nd. So don't join as a free member and then immediately unjoin. You have to stay a free member in order to, be eligible for the contest. But that's all it takes. Just join up for free, get our weekly release calendar, and you'll automatically be entered into the sweepstakes, which will be being drawn a few months from now. Okay, moving on. So let's get to these topics here. Again, just a bunch of Islanders stuff here. It's funny how many things happen during the offseason, but I want to start with something that I completely forgot to mention last week, which is that assistant coach Benoit Durossier was announced a little while ago that he's no longer with the organization. Not much of a surprise here. He was brought on to be part of Patrick Roy's staff. He was on his staff with the Quebec Ramparts. Came here, helped the Islanders become one of, if not the best face-off team in the league, and now he's gone. I got to say, I'm not that broken up about it. Good luck to him. Assuming he's going back to Quebec Major Junior League. I will say, though, one thing I liked about this guy is he showed up and it was like, he's going to help our team with face-offs. And by God, that's exactly what happens. I really give him a lot of credit for coming in and changing whatever they did. So hopefully that kind of stuff stays. But I don't know. Do you have any parting thoughts?
This is what I'll remember about him. The weird, almost like college undrafted free agent pursuit of him is what I will remember the most about. Benoit Durossier. He when the Islanders hired Roy, they're like, oh, he's got this, he's got this right hand man, this sort of young up and comer in the queue, and none of us had ever heard of Benoit Durossier. I can't even remember how to pronounce his name. He was on the team for a while. And all of a sudden everyone became an expert on this guy, and everyone's like, no, he's a great defensive mind. He's, he's the face-off stuff. And then there was even the famous Stefan Rosner bit where Lou caught him when Rosner was like, the ultimate plan here is for Roy to be GM, replace Lou, and Benoit Durossier to become the head coach. And that was within a week of this guy being hired as the assistant coach, not even a head coach or anything. And
that was hilarious. Well, obviously it's going to be Roy's GM. Delorier is coach. Sure. That can happen. Sure.
Yeah. And I guess Lou gave it to him at one of the end of the season things or something. But that's what I remember the most about him. Good hair. He always, I feel like he stood very close to Patrick Roy on the bench too. That was another thing I always remember about him, was when you look at benches, there's a lot of bench shots during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Most of the time, when they pan the bench, it's just the head coach standing alone kind of in the middle. But for Roy, I feel like Benoit Durossier was always right next to him. And he, sharp dresser, good hair, never heard him kind of talk. But like you said, got them to be an amazing face-off team. And what else? I mean, I don't know. It's so.
What else can you say?
What else can you say about the guy? But so, he becomes this strange character in.
Right.
I remember a lot of the Islanders' associate coaches, and he's not going to be one of my favorites. I mean, my two favorite were the ones that Ted Nolan had.
Yeah.
Dan Flynn and Dan Lacroix.
Right.
One of my, I think I've probably told this story on the podcast years ago, in the early stages of our podcast. But when I was in high school and I used to go to games all the time in that season, I used to know, Dan Lacroix was always the eye in the sky. So he'd watch the games from the one of the suites. I mean, at Nassau, he probably had to pay for his ticket, honestly, back then. But he would always take the elevator down to the main concourse and then walk across the concourse to the ramp that took him down to the locker room.
Jeez.
And I would see him all the time and be like, "Good period," and just like give him like a quip, like, you might want to try to stop that number 87 and 71 of the Penguins,"
Right.
like stuff like that. And he would always like laugh and stuff. And so he's him and Danny Flynn, who those were my two guys. Danny Flynn was just like the most. Jack Capuano took the look to a whole new level, but he was like the most used car salesman looking um, assistant coach you'll ever have. So yeah, he doesn't clip there. I know you had a pretty big affinity for Scott Allen.
Scott Allen,
Yeah,
I think would be my favorite. I'm a huge fan of Jacques Leperrier. I think he might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Jacques. Yeah.
Yeah. When he, that was the best. And you want to talk about another guy who came and they're like, this guy's going to just completely redefine the Islanders' structure and defensive game. And like their professionalism. He did that too.
Yeah.
Um,
Jacques Leperrier was, we talk about UBS Arena being too good for the Islanders. Jacques Leperrier was definitely too good for the Islanders.
What was he doing here during that time?
I don't know. I don't know how they got him here. This guy had like a storied career with the Canadians, and he cut, you don't say this too often. He cut a very stately figure on the bench. He's a tall guy, big shock of like white hair. He looked a lot like a guy named Alan Napier, who used to play Alfred on the old Batman show. That's the way he looked. And it was like, what are you doing here? I think third would have to be Gerard Gallant, who was also assistant coach, I think, maybe under Ted Nolan.
He just tainted his, like Mike Peca, kind of when he went to the Rangers a little.
I guess that's true.
But Jacques Leperrier, if you were like gonna cast someone to play the president in like of France, or like in the West Wing at that during that same time, it would be him. So
not even the premier of Canada.
And in a similar way, like Benoit Desrosiers, like he would be a guy that you'd probably cast to play like a hockey coach. Honestly, like he just has that. He had that look of being like a junior hockey coach or something. So thanks for stopping by. Best of luck to him. And here's the other thing: like Patrick Waugh, I don't think coached himself out of a job, like a future consideration. I really don't think that, just because I think there was like enough that he could point to that, he got the team to the playoffs that first year, and the roster, whatever, who knows. And he's also Patrick Waugh, so he'll get a couple more kicks at the can than someone like Lane Lambert, who is shockingly obviously got another one, but he's got the name, so maybe we see Benny pop up again. Hey, John Chayka's back in the league, so we're not laughing at any if I was Steve Sterling and I saw John Chayka got a job, I'd be like, whoa, right, it's crazy.
Yeah, right. That is a good point. And we're going to talk a little bit more about John Chayka later on in the episode. I promise. Don't worry about it. But yeah, again, no hard feelings or anything. I think it's he came in, did what he said he was going to do. And you took the words out of my mouth. I wanted to shout out specifically everybody that was like, well, obviously, the plan is for Waugh to be the GM and Desrosiers to be the head coach. Man. Good one, guys. Okay. So we can move on. But again, that was from last week. Completely forgot about it, but we wanted to talk a little bit about it. And we'll see who Peter DeBoer brings on as his assistant coaches. I have a feeling Bob Bugner is going to stay because he knows Bugner from his time in San Jose, and I think it's important to keep Bob Bugner on the ice on the team, I should say, because I think he should be here at least as long as people learn how to pronounce his last name. That's like once everybody learns how to pronounce his last name, then he can be let go. But there's still a long time to go before that happens. So I don't know. I think we're the only Islanders podcast that can pronounce Bugner correctly. It's really not that hard, guys. The guy was in the league for a long time. Really shouldn't be that hard. But in any event, maybe he'll be here. We'll see who else DeBoer brings in. A little bit more about DeBoer later on. Also, no longer with the organization, the one, the only, the legendary Marcus Hogberg. Hog out. Signs a deal with Linköping of the Swedish league. Not surprising here. We didn't have a ton to say about Benoit Delorier Delorier. No, now I'm messing up his last name. But I think we have less to say about Marcus Hogberg, who I think had a great 2-week stretch, right? Last year?
Yep.
Was that what it was? About 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks.
And people were like, wow, this guy might be like found money. And turns out it was fake. It was bogus money. And that was the last we kind of saw of him. He got called up for one game this year, but did not play. So he is eligible for our weirdest Islander of the year, of course. But yeah, not much to say about Marcus Hogberg. It would have been cool for it to work out. He was in the NHL, he left, came back. It would have been fun to see him, stake a claim as a backup goalie. But that was a hard thing to find this year, unfortunately. Any lasting memories of the Hog? He did get a title on this show based on a Butch Goring line.
Yeah.
You got to let the Hog play, I think is what the line was. So
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
can't remember what it was, yeah, but it was incredible from Butch. Yeah, and much like Benoit DeRoger being remembered for something said about him. Of course, that's what I'm going to remember the most about Marcus Hogberg's tenure is the Butchism. That was incredible. But yeah, he had that hilarious start to his career. That was, of course, when you know Varley was hurt, Sorokin struggling. Marcus Hogberg comes in, and boy, that I think that first game was against like the Hurricanes.
Mm.
I kind of remember. I remember watching a game that he was playing against the Hurricanes. It was at my one of my best friends, his dad's 70th birthday party at MacArthur Park in Rockville Center, and the game was on without sound. And I had Isla with me because my friend's kid is around the same age, and he was at the party. So I was like watching in this bar with her and watching Marcus Hogberg kind of just stand on his head. But he was big. His he was like a throwback in terms of how he wore his equipment.
Mhm.
Felt very Garth Snow.
Yeah.
Big shoulder pads. As he definitely put it to the limit, the measurements. And yeah, he had a great run, and people were like, "This guy is, this he should have been starting the entire season." I'm like, this is much like the Benoit DeRoger thing going off the rails right away. This one did too, and yeah, became evident not too far down the line that why Marcus Hogberg wasn't in the NHL for much of his professional career, and he struggled. And I like that he wore number 50. That was one of the
What?
nice, that was a very Lou thing because the
Yeah.
Islanders had a 1 in Ken Appleby.
Mm.
And then they had 30 in Sorokin, 40 in Varley, of course, and 50 in Hogberg. So
Mm.
I appreciated like that symmetry of goaltending numbers.
Mm.
We're watching a number 75 versus a number 88 in this series that just ended, and there's some strange goaltending numbers out there
Mm.
these days. So I appreciated the Islanders going traditional. I think right, Appleby was no, did he wear 1 or 60? He wore 60. Sorry. I think so. Like that was
Wow.
nice. So I appreciated that about Hogberg, the number 50. Like that's what your number 3 goalie is supposed to wear. He's supposed to wear number 50. It's supposed to
True.
have a 0 at the end of it, and you just go down the line 3, 4, 5, 6, and then if you get to the next guy, then he's
Right.
70. So yeah,
That's funny.
via Scandios to Marcus Hogberg. He was. I mean, I guess we can say he was the first Swedish goalie the Islanders had in a long time as
Yeah.
well. So that was nice.
Yeah,
But
that is rare. It was hit the hog in the head.
hit the
That
hog
was
in the
the
head.
the Butch line.
Ugh.
But yeah, that's probably one of the few things he'll be remembered about. The fact that you remember what number he wore already makes you a better fan than I am, because I did not remember that at all. But yeah, no, this was not surprising, and the fact that he did it kind of quickly was also not surprising. I don't think he really even got into too many games in Bridgeport this year. I don't think he had a particularly good season there either. It couldn't be like, well, he played well down there. I don't think he did that either. So in any event, definitely not part of the solution going forward in goal. So we wish him well in Sweden, and I don't know, maybe we'll see him again. Who knows? But Marcus Hogberg, thanks for the memories and the puns. Really, that's the only thing we can really thank him for. Speaking of goalies, and speaking of things that are surprising to no one, Ilya Sorokin is a Vezina Trophy finalist. Came out last week. They're starting to roll out the trophy finalists. The Vezina was basically the first one to come out. It's Sorokin, it's Andrei Vasilevsky, it's Jeremy Swayman. All three of those guys are done playing. Though two of them made it a lot further. I should say several games further than Sorokin did. This to me, and maybe you have a different opinion, maybe other people have a different opinion. This is pretty bittersweet to me because for 75% of this season, to me, Sorokin was the Vezina Trophy. Like there was nobody else that could have possibly ever earn this award. Remember when Logan Thompson was like in first, like kind of statistically in first place there, and the Caps had kind of fallen. They were in the playoffs and they fell out of it. And it was like, really? This guy? The Islanders were still hovering around. They go to the Olympic break in second place. And I'm like, oh, dude, this is going to be great. Like, I don't even know if they're going to make it into out of the first round, but it would be amazing to have Sorokin win a Vezina. Nobody from this team has won a Vezina since Billy Smith won the first Vezina that was awarded to the goalie of the year. Usually the Vezina used to be like a team award. Then they changed it to be an individual award and created the Jennings Trophy that would go to the team that gave up the tandem that gave up the fewest goals in the league. So Billy Smith was the first guy to win this version of the Vezina Trophy, and the Islanders have not had a player do that since. Robin Leonard was the last one to even become a finalist, which of course, he didn't win, although did win the Masterton Trophy that year. So I was super keyed up for this. And then the collapse started. And suddenly, or I shouldn't say suddenly, but over time, it became pretty clear that this guy is just not going to have the numbers to win. And if you watch this man play for that 75%, you were like, this guy is literally, forget Superman. He is the entire Justice League in one man at the end of the rink in the net. But his and Swayman's numbers are actually quite comparable. But again, one guy made the playoffs, one didn't. And Vasilevsky's numbers are just far superior. The Lightning, I think did they win the division this year, or they came in? No, they came in second, I guess, in the division. Yeah, they lost in the first round, but I mean, I can't see Vasilevsky not winning it, and that really sucks. Like I want to see this guy win a Vezina Trophy so badly. He's the best chance the Islanders have had in a long, long time, and really bums me out that it's probably not going to be him. What do you make of this whole thing? Am I crazy that there's no way he wins this?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he wins it at this time. I actually think he'll probably finish third. Swayman is kind of becoming the trendy pick, and of the three, that the one didn't make the playoffs. So and he's that one. But like you, it's I'm trying my best to just kind of move on and put this season just to bed completely and stop thinking about it and getting mad about it again. And when I saw the post Sorokin's been nominated by Vezina, I got mad. I got mad more than anything.
Me too.
Because you just wasted a Vezina caliber season from a guy, and you don't get this. The Islanders haven't had one of those, like you said, since Billy Smith, and you wasted it. So, good. They should all be ashamed of themselves, honestly.
I mean, he could have also had a Hart Trophy season too.
I know, right? Yeah, like absolutely. Like it makes me upset. The only thing cheering me up here is that when we were talking about Linkoping, I ended up on the SHL, just Wikipedia, and for some reason ended up on Modo's hockey page and saw Matthias Tamander's numbers is retired by Modo.
Wow.
So that's the only thing cheering me up now. But I don't know. They honestly, top to bottom, everybody involved with the team. I know a lot of the guys posted on whatever Instagram or something he's the best ever, whatever, cheer, congrats, whatever, Sorokin. The only two guys who can get away with doing that are Kyle Palmieri and Alex Romanov, because they weren't part of they weren't really the culprits of this collapse because of their injuries. But this is what kills you about the team, right? Like even the things that are supposed to be good, we should be celebrating. The Islanders should be adding to your life, and especially accomplishments. This is an accomplishment. This means that this guy was deemed one of the 3 best goaltenders on the entire planet Earth this season, and I can't even get myself to be excited about it because of the way that they blew it. So even Schaefer with the Calder is going to be very different. That's I think a different cat of a different color or something, but this one, it hurts more than anything, and I hope that everybody writes him an apology. The Islanders should have put out a statement, honestly, instead of an Instagram post with his highlights. It should have just been a statement from Matthew Darsh apologizing to Sorokin.
That would be the Islanders letter. We apologize to Ilya Sorokin
right,
for having this terrible season and ruining it, and the fact that his coach for most of that season was one of the greatest goalies in the history of the NHL is even more just just another pound of kosher salt, the big flaky stuff into the wound there, and just defense matters, kids. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like it's very important that your team play well in front of you and not just be like, yeah, that's okay. He's got it. Because maybe one day he don't got it. And as Arthur Staples said, I think on the Islanders wrap up show on Tri-State Hockey Podcast, there was no structure to fall back on when Ilya was not there post Olympics. You know, he was out of gas, and the team just didn't have enough defensive structure to pick him up when needed and give him a break. And that doesn't even take into account the fact that David Riddick had a good November, October, December, sort of that area of the season was fine, and then all of a sudden he wasn't fine, and so there was no support there either, and all of it combined to take away from this man what he really should have had, which was the award for being the best goalie in the league. And that's taking nothing away from Vasilevsky and Swayman. Those guys were great. Vasilevsky has earned this Vezina as much as anybody, but really, really what is a bummer. And like you said, the likelihood of Sorokin having a season like this again is very, very remote. Like it just is. Like it just he can have a good, another great season, especially if the team does learn to play some sort of structure in front of him and limit shots against and high danger chances against, which is what I'm hoping Peter DeBoer can bring. But he was just so inhumanly good. I don't think we'll ever see this again, but we shall see. Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe he will walk away with the Vezina. You never know. It's the broadcasters voting for the award, right? So, oh no, it's the GMs. Excuse me, it's the GMs voting for the award. So they have been known to make a mistake or two.
Yeah.
I shouldn't call it a mistake, I guess, but go out on a limb here or there. So we'll have to see. Another guy you mentioned right there, Matthew Schaefer.
I thought you were going to say Matthias Timander.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say was we need to get a Weird Islanders episode on Matthias Timander. That's amazing.
Yes, yeah.
He is on the list. So I just updated it to say number retired by Modo. So we'll know. But no, Matthew Schaefer, the presumptive Calder Trophy winner in a couple of weeks, hasn't been named finalist, but I'm sure that's just coming in a couple of days. He will not be playing at the World Championships for Team Canada. I think he has earned a rest. Yes, he's a young man, but he packed a lot into that 18 season, and I think he deserves to go home, hang out with his dad and his brother, or maybe hang out on the island with at the Martin House with the kids and Matt and Sydney. But either way, he will not be going to the World Championships. That being said, Matt Barzal will suit up for Team Canada, and Simon Holmstrom and Emil Heineman will play for Team Sweden. So these are always kind of cool. Again, the theme so far of all of these has been like either bittersweet / that's fine, whatever. And this is sort of both. Like, I think when your guys are going to the World Championships, you know that your team is done, right? And so it's cool that these guys are going. I'm actually particularly happy for Holmstrom and Heineman specifically, but it's also like, this is the domain of the eliminated, basically. So I don't know. Anything to say about this? Either Schaefer not going or Barzal and Heineman and Holmstrom going? Or I mean, is there a way to even watch these things? Are you even going to pay attention to the World Championships?
No. Yeah. No. And what's frustrating, like I'll never forget when Brock Nelson went, probably a decade ago by now. And he had there was one World Championships where Brock Nelson had like a standout year or standout tournament for Team USA. And everyone's like, oh, this bodes really well for the Islanders. And yeah, I mean, he eventually became a great player, but I was like, this has nothing to do with it. Like Brock Nelson's going to go play in this tournament, then he's going to go home for 5 months, and then he's going to play for the Islanders. He's not like carrying this momentum into the next game, but get ready. Like it's almost like preseason hockey.
Yes.
Why does the Islanders power play look like it's clicking with Duclair, Siplikov, Horvat, Barzal? This is gonna be great. This team's gonna have a great power play this season. Nah, I don't think so. That's what it's gonna be like with this. Like, yeah, Simon. I want Simon Holmstrom to be the happiest guy on the planet, and that probably, winning the World Championships, which is a huge deal to the European countries for sure, would help him achieve that goal. But it's not gonna have any impact on. It's not adding to my fan experience of the New York Islanders.
That's true. Yeah, and actually, nowhere is that more true than with Barzal. Right, like he's going to go and play with a bunch of guys who also aren't playing. I don't know who else is all going to suit up for Team Canada, but you're going to hear a lot of like, oh man, what's Barzal going to learn from these guys and all these different. And it's going to be the answer is not much. Like He's just not. They'll have a good time. They'll play, and have a good time, and maybe he'll play on a line with somebody who's really cool. But I don't think much is going to come of this, which is really a shame. I hope he win. Maybe Canada wins and Barzell feels some sort of, glory and success somewhere. But I'm with you. Like, there is no momentum. There's no carryover from this. Like, it's just a cool experience that these guys get to have. So there you go. Whenever I think of the World Championships, I think of another former Islander, and I know you know where I'm going with this. The one and only Ryan Smith, the man who was named Captain
Yeah.
Canada because he always went to the goddamn World Championships because the Oilers never made the playoffs in his tenure. But I don't even know how many World Championships he won. But that's both a great thing and a bad thing. Like, I always thought that was kind of funny for Ryan Smith to have this sort of like, yeah, man, he always captains Team Canada at the NIT tournament, for the teams that didn't make the playoffs. Anyway, good luck, guys. And as I always say, don't get hurt. That's my big thing. Okay, moving on. Another Islander who is not playing in the NHL playoffs, but will be playing somewhere, at least for one more day, is Kayshawn Aitchison, who was last week named Ontario Hockey League Defenseman of the Year. Shouldn't be surprised. He just lit up the scoreboard. He was an absolute beast out there. He racked up so many points, which is incredible. But then you realize that he got suspended for a bunch of crazy hits too. So again, much like Matthew Schaefer, just a very, very eventful year. And that hasn't ended because Barrie was down 3-1 in their semifinal series and against Brampton, I believe, and came back to force a game 7 on Saturday night. Aitchison didn't factor into the scoring, but it was kind of a wild game apparently. And so game 7 of the semifinals is Monday night, and the winner will go on to take on Kitchener in the OHL final. Not only is the championship on the line, but a trip to the Memorial Cup is also on the line there too. So I have absolutely no idea how anybody can watch this, particularly in the States, but I'm sure if you are so inclined, you can find it. But you and I have been getting regular updates on Kayshawn from our friend Sab, who lives in Barrie, and it's been exciting. And as I said last week and a couple of weeks ago, like, I'm all in on this guy, man. Like, I wasn't all in on him with the pink suit at the draft. So he's just become bigger in my eyes since then. But this has been really cool, and I'm hoping that we get some later action from him, perhaps in a Memorial Cup. I know you're not a junior hockey watcher or anything, but I don't know, OHL Defenseman of the Year, 7th game in a semifinal. That's a pretty damn good season for a young kid who's going to make the jump to the AHL next year.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, if it wasn't for Matthew Schaefer, I feel like I'd probably be more excited for Kayshawn Aitchison than I've
Yeah,
been for anyone's in, boy,
yeah, that's fair.
10 years. I mean, it's the think about even defensive prospects. Once again, putting Schaefer aside.
Right.
Well, how about we'll couch it this way: of like a player that was drafted and then spent at least a year away from the team, right? Didn't just make the jump like Schaefer or Tavares did, or Rick DiPietro in his own way. I can't remember being as kind of just interested in a prospect like that in quite some time. Part of it is because the Islanders haven't really drafted in the first round all that much in like the last decade compared to a lot of other teams. It's really like, Holmstrom, and that's really it. But and then the new crop. But yeah, I mean, I can't really think of someone like, even someone like Ryan Strome, Nino Niederreiter, those guys, Ryan Pollock maybe, but even him, like, there was some injury stuff, I think. Same with Cal DeHaan, like, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the world of him, and it seems like he just seems like a rock star. So I'm excited to see how he comes into camp. Seems like the type of guy the Islanders haven't had in a long time. Just
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, who knows? You never know how somebody translates from junior to the pro, but um, he's hardly put a foot wrong, and I feel like
Right.
he's the type of guy that will like get suspended for punching a Ranger in the face at some point in his career. So that's also great.
Well, we could only hope, right?
Yeah.
Maybe JG Pajot can give him some tips on that. He did not get suspended. How to do that without getting suspended? That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, listen, we've been down this road many, 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 many times, particularly you and I, and it's just like, you don't want to get too excited. But that being said, I am really, really looking forward to this. And if he can become I don't expect him to be this in the NHL, but I'm hoping that he becomes a really, really solid player with, offensive instincts and upside. And I'll tell you, if he does get to the NHL and becomes a regular Islander, between him and Schaefer, and Yzerman, and I think Eklund maybe too, we might be looking at sort of something the Islanders haven't had in a long time, which is personality overload. Guys who you kind of want to hear from and like come to the rink smiling and laughing and are good on the mic. I'm talking about them like they're pro wrestlers, but like, they're good on the mic and they're interesting and they're worth interviewing. Not that the guys on the Islanders now are bad dudes. They're obviously all great dudes. We talk about this all the time. They're the uncles. Like we've loved hanging out with them and watching them grow and do great things. Although that time seems to be over now, but none of those guys are really outside of Barzell and maybe Eberle a little bit. None of them are like, super like demonstrative, kind of fun to talk to and interview and stuff. And I feel like Schaefer, we know, can do that. Aitchison, I feel like, can do that. Like I said, Yzerman, I feel like, and Eklund, I might be speaking incorrectly, but I feel like those guys might have a chance here too. And obviously, without Lou around to rein him in, I think it'll be kind of cool to see. But congratulations, Kayshawn. Keep it going. And again, Monday night, Barry versus Brampton, I believe. Well, anyway, Barry in the semifinals in the OHL. So if you want to watch it, check it out. Although there's obviously other playoff action happening elsewhere that's probably easier to catch on TV or streaming. Speaking of prospects, again, also happening on Tuesday night is the NHL Draft Lottery. You may be familiar with this television program. We all tuned in last year to watch Ken Morrow laughing his way to a first overall pick, and Matthew Schaefer worked out beautifully. I'm sure they're going to send Ken Morrow again because he is the good luck charm. Although that being said, the Islanders are 13th right now in the pecking order and can only move up 10 spots. So the best they can do is to get to third in the draft, and they have a 4.2% chance of that happening. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think they're probably going to end up most likely going 13th unless somebody from behind them does win the lottery, moves all the way up to the front of the line. We'll or at least, up 10 spots from there. So we'll have to see. We're not draft nicks or prospect perverts or any of that kind of thing. So I don't know how much draft looking we're going to do, but I do want to shout out Kenny Kaminsky, who's one of the guys behind Isles in the Sound. This was brought to us by our friend Matt Strauss. And there is one guy who there's a great list Kenny has here on Twitter of sort of Islanders, Long Island ties, basically guys that are available in the draft this year. And one of them sticks out. And he is from the U.S. National Development Program, a place where the Islanders have gotten a lot of players from. And his name is Parker Trottier. He is indeed the grandson of the great Brian Trottier. Elite Prospects says that he is number 79 in the Central Scouting rankings. So, talking maybe third round pick. And I'm telling you right now, the Islanders are going to go out and draft this kid. Like, I don't care if he's good or bad or whatever he is. Just, Brian Trottier's grandson's out there. You got to get him at least before the Penguins do. That's for sure. But that will end my my draft, kind of spiel today. But lottery's going to have a very different feel this year. The Islanders, jumped up from 10th to 1st last year, and it was pretty wild. They had the 3.5 odds or whatever it was. Probably not going to happen this year, but I'm still going to watch. Still love seeing Ken Morrow out there. The Islanders' good luck charm. Maybe he can do it again. We'll see. If they do, they're going to stop him from coming. They're going to be like, no, you can't send Ken Morrow anymore here. But I don't know. What are your plans for Tuesday draft lottery? You're going to watch it? I think we're in agreement. We can't have the Leafs win this, or Rangers win this.
Right.
Thing,
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say more, last year I kind of just like tuned in. I don't, it was such a bizarre experience. Like that if there was something in the air that night. And then of course we're talking about not being prospect perverts. We're like, forget this. What's this Schaefer? We don't even know what this Schaefer guy is. Like, go get the guy from Long Island. You got to do that. Like, but yeah, I'm with you and Matt. You got to get Parker Trottier, man.
Yeah,
like,
come on,
come on. Even if it's at 15 overall, wherever the hell they're drafting. But yeah, this is going to be a hate watch. I'm pulling for Calgary to. Is Gavin McKenna still like the runaway guy? I think so.
Who knows? I think he might be, but there's also a couple other guys.
Yeah. Well, whoever. I just, aside from the Islanders, the team I want to land like the best guy is probably Calgary. I just feel like that's like the type of team that could use it. Like Vancouver's Vancouver's never gonna be in trouble, right? They're in Vancouver. They're the
Right.
only professional sports team in Vancouver, really, major team. I know
Mm.
there's some other, MLS and whatever, but, um
At least for now, the
right.
MLS team is moving.
Are they?
Unfortunately, yeah, they're going to move to Vegas apparently, and I
Oh,
think it's not official yet, but
it's
certainly
gonna
leaning
happen.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But Vancouver's never gonna go anywhere. Like Calgary, I know they're getting a building now too,
Yes.
so good for them. But there was some, there's always some there were always some very low murmurs about Calgary as like a
Yeah.
market and stuff. So um that's I'm just hoping that it's just not obviously first and foremost, not the Leafs, not
Mm.
the Rangers. Whatever scenario has to happen for the Leafs to like screw up the most. I know like there's all these machinations with the Bruins and then because the Flyers own their next pick in the first round next round or
Right.
next year or something. But if they keep this one, then the next two they punt on. Whatever. I just want everyone to be. I think we're gonna hopefully get a lot of laughing at the Leafs in this week, and so I hope there's some more on Tuesday night, and that goes for the Rangers too. Of course, like we can't. But of course, that it just I'm gonna go into that being like, well, they're gonna give it to the Rangers,
Listen, they've already had that. Like
right?
they shouldn't get that anymore. Like, I mean,
They had it
you can make the
twice, 2 years. Was it two in a
yeah,
row or 2 and 3, whatever it was with those two? Ugh.
I think it was 2 and 3.
And
Yeah.
like they landed. There was like a when they got Kako, there was a lot of talk about how you wanted the number 2 pick in that draft because you didn't want to be the team that had to choose between Hughes and Kako because
Right.
they were one was Jaromir Jagr and the other one was whoever the hell they were comparing Jack Hughes to. Who were Books, who were his comps. Um, yeah, so I don't know if Kako is he's still got a lot of work to do to catch up to Jaromir Jagr. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just hope again if the Leafs, if it ends up so they're fifth right now, but if they get bumped down to sixth, then the pick goes to the
Bruins,
Bruins.
right?
So
And then
we're
like they
hoping
have a
that happens.
chance to keep their pick next year.
Hmm.
Because whatever it is.
Yeah.
Kipper will explain it to us.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever the worst option is,
Yeah.
that's what we want for those guys, obviously. But I'm okay. I would be okay with Vancouver getting the first overall pick. I really would. They've had such a rough go of it. Like I get what you're saying, like, but Calgary, I think, is getting like you said, they're getting a new building either next year or the year after. So, I think they're okay. They've never had a first overall pick, the Flames. So I would like to see that happen. I don't need to see Chicago get a first overall pick, honestly. I mean, again, they've done it before. They need to sort their shit out and get it going. They've already gotten their stuff. Who else do we have? Oh yeah, Seattle. I wouldn't mind seeing Seattle get there. Maybe Winnipeg because they need that's the only way to get players there for each. Definitely not Florida. Thank you very much. Definitely not San Jose. Nashville could do what the Islanders did, move from 10th to first. That would be kind of fun too. So we'll see. I mean, I'll tune in. It's always it's an irritating time because it's on ESPN and it means you got to watch Buccigross for an hour. But you never know when something's cool is going to happen. And I mean, something super cool happened last year. I doubt it's going to happen again. And we'll have to, we'll just have. There won't be, I think, too many people. I don't know how to say this. Like people were stunned that the Islanders won last year. I don't know if that'll happen again in the same way. Vancouver has the best odds to take the first pick, and I know people are going to be hoping that the Leafs blow it and end up falling down. So that's really the biggest thing to watch because Chicago is already number 2, so again they don't need to move up, and the Rangers are third. So chances are the Rangers are going to get a good pick. They might end up with McKenna because the other two guys, Keaton Verhoff, and then there's another guy too who's up there. So we'll see. But again, we've lived through all this before, and we will see it again. You never know. Who's the other guy who I was thinking of? Oh yeah. Shout out to Skates of the Stakes. They mentioned this guy Ryan Lynn, who is up there as a good prospect that might fall to the Islanders. There's another guy whose name I'm forgetting now, who I thought would be a really cool pick. I'll try to remember it some other time. And then there's a guy named Vigo Bjork that might fall to the Islanders if they're lucky, and he's great because his name is Vigo. Like that's just awesome. Call him Vigo the Carpathian, Vigo the Immortal, all these Ghostbusters 2 jokes. But we'll see. Maybe later on we will have an episode around the draft, and we could talk about these guys closer there. But again, if you're coming to us for draft knowledge, you're in the wrong place. We have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. So go find it elsewhere. But we might do something a little bit later closer to the draft. Okay. Final topic on this, pardon the interruption style first half of the episode, is that if you are craving to hear from the Islanders' new coach, Peter DeBoer, you're in luck because the new organization likes when people do podcasts now. And DeBoer was on a podcast last week called 100% Hockey with Darren Millard and John Shannon. It was really well done. I thought it was really cool. He talked about how he got the job. He seemed really relaxed. He talked about like sort of bringing defensive structure. He talked about talking to Patrick Waugh and, kind of giving him words of encouragement right afterwards because he's been in the same position. Some of the stuff we've heard before, but it was cool to see him talking and hear him talk about like his journey and what he wants to bring to the team. And you could see it, you could download it, or you could watch it on YouTube if you want to see his couch or wherever he's coming from via laptop. I thought it was really well done. And again, it made me feel pretty good that, this guy's in charge. And he talked about, kind of getting to know the people. And he did talk about Long Island as a cool area because when he was coaching the Devils, his son was playing junior hockey around the island area, I guess playing against the Gulls and the Junior Islanders. And that. So he's very familiar with the area, which I thought was really, really cool. So I didn't know that about him. I thought that was really neat. So definitely check it out. It's a rough, John Shannon is a bit of a rough listen sometimes, but he did bring up a point at the end that you got to say on Long Island, not in Long Island. So points for that, but it's a little bit rough sometimes when he just interjects. There's a lot of talking over each other there, which I kind of hate in a podcast, to be honest with you. But check it out, 100% Hockey on YouTube. It's probably the easiest place to get it, and you can just type in DeBoer and you'll see DeBoer interview and you'll see it. But I don't know if you had a chance to check these out, but it was good. I really enjoyed it. He was definitely on another show too that I listened to as well. I think one of the NHL podcasts. I have to find it, but I like that. He can come on and talk, and he makes me feel better knowing that he's going to bring that defensive, structure to the team that they have not had in quite some time. So I don't know. Maybe not so much about this podcast, but like, have you had a chance to kind of sit back and think about the DeBoer, experience and how you think it's going to change next season for these guys?
Not too much yet because it still feels so strange because if this season isn't over, I think when the playoffs are done and we're talking draft and free agency and who's coming back, who's going, then I'll start to it'll start to kind of dawn on me.
Yeah.
But what I keep just kind of catching myself forgetting that they have a coach. Almost like it's and I mean that in like they have like a real coach, like a guy who's got a pretty good pedigree and is an identity again. And that's what's gonna be most exciting, at least, is that we get to show up to training camp and be like, well, we know what the expectations are. And now it's up to the Islanders to either meet or fail to meet those exceed or fail to meet those expectations, because we know what DeBoer is going to try to set up with Waugh and with Lambert. I mean, even in the beginning with Trotz, because it was a new era for the Islanders then too, right? Lou Trotz,
Right.
the guy who left, like there was a lot of questions. So I feel like for the first time in a long time, I mean, then you could throw weight in there too. Since it's been a long time since the Islanders, I feel like you could step into a training camp and have an idea of what they're supposed to look like. Whether they do or don't is another thing, but we know what they're supposed to look like in this. Like, we know what a Peter DeBoer good hockey team looks like when they're on the ice, because we've seen a lot of them over the years. And we'll see if the Islanders can find a way to meet that. But yeah, it'll take some time. Like, honestly, I've tried. You were talking about his podcast appearances and stuff, and I was just like, I'm just not ready to listen, because I don't even want to be excited for next season yet. It's so far. It's so far away. It's 5 months, and like I just don't want to get myself excited and then realize, oh, I'm excited for Pete DeBoer. Oh, tomorrow's May 11th. Like,
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I just I see it pop up, and I'm still craving Islanders talk, like, and answers that aren't coming, and that's why I really appreciated the Tri-State Hockey Podcast did like a sort of autopsy on the team just recently. They did the Rangers and Devils episodes. I listened to those too, and for the most part, I think Islanders podcasts are kind of slowing down. We are going to start slowing down next week. We're going to start our alternating schedule, so no anxiety next week. Just a Weird Islanders. Great episode, by the way. Player you all remember for sure, with a guest that you all know and love and have had on this show before. So check that out next Friday. And then the week after will be Anxiety. Then it's just Weird Islanders. Then a week after Anxiety, and so forth until July 2nd. So, things are winding down because there's just not a ton to talk about. I don't know. This season is just going to haunt me, I think, for a long time. And I liked hearing him, and I want to feel excited about next year. And the best place to do that is through him. I hate to put the pressure on the man, but I am looking forward to seeing what he can do. But that being said, he's probably gonna need some help, because I don't know how much these guys have in them. And I feel like maybe later on we'll have at least one more episode where we just lash into these guys again for, like you just said, when we were talking about Sorokin sort of throwing this season away, which really, really sucked. So, but definitely check those out if you're like me and you want to hear more about Peter DeBoer. It's a very easy listen, and those guys, they're respectful. They're not like, ooh, what's it like out there? Like, it's, they talk about good stuff, and about the his experience at the Olympics and stuff like that too, which is really, really interesting. So there you go. If you're done with us and you haven't listened, you want to listen to some more, check out Peter DeBoer on his own podcast, an interview with 100% Hockey. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back on the other side, talk a little playoff stuff that actually sort of relates to the Islanders a little bit, and then we'll wrap this episode up. All right, so meet us on the other side. Thanks. And now, a word from our sponsors. VintageIceHockey.com. Over 100 classic hockey logos on t-shirts, jerseys, hats, mugs, and more. Long Island Ducks, Albany Riverettes, Danbury Trashers, Kentucky Thoroughblades, and so many more. Plus a full line of Islanders Anxiety merch, with our portion of the sales going directly to the Center for Dementia Research. These incredible items cannot be found in stores, so shop VintageIceHockey.com today. Relax, sit back, and enjoy wine from The Pinot Project. Rosé, Pinot Grigio, or a Pinot Noir that was named a Best Buy by Wine Enthusiast magazine. These wines are delicious, affordable, and available at area wine shops and at UBS Arena. Learn more at thepinotproject.com, and please drink responsibly. Before we get into our final topic, just a couple of things real quick. We had put out a great episode of Weird Islanders, the podcast, last week with Aaron Kleinman. He's a Twitter legend. He is a legend from the old Deadspin site, if you remember reading that. And he loves the Hartford Whalers still. He's from Connecticut. He talked a lot about the Whalers, but we also talked about three Islanders, Weird Islanders legends, Ken Belanger, Doug Huda, Kevin Holler. It was a great time. Aaron's a great guy, and I really, really enjoyed that episode. So definitely check that out. Starts with Brass Bonanza to get into the spirit of the Whalers. It was a lot of fun. And this week, as we've been alluding to, there's going to be some news coming out of Leafs land. And you know what that means. Brand new Master Leaf Theater. We're going to do a standalone episode Tuesday night covering the hiring and searching for the new GM and president. Turns out it's going to be Matt Sundin as the president and John Chayka, formerly of the Arizona Coyotes, as their GM. This is comedy gold, as we say in the business. So look for that episode to come out on Wednesday. I can't wait to get into it. I can't wait to see what these dudes write about this. We've already got a couple of real home runs here. So check that out on Tuesday. It's going to be a great time. We haven't come up with a title for it yet, but I guarantee it will be epic. So check all that out. And like I said just a few minutes ago, next week, no Anxiety, but Friday will be a Weird Islanders episode you'll definitely want to catch. And then we'll be back with Anxiety the week after. We're going to be alternating as the summer goes on here. But again, if something happens, we could pop in. We will. We might have another Master Leaf Theater style episode coming down the pipe later on. We're just, kind of see how this situation we're monitoring works out. But we got a few things cooking for the off season. I think you'll all enjoy. So check all that stuff out. Okay. Final topic of the evening is the Edmonton Oilers, and not in the way you think. If you want an autopsy on what happened with the Oilers and why they lost to the Anaheim Ducks in the first round of this season, postseason, after going to the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row, go someplace else. Go to Sportsnet, go to one of the many Oilers blogs or The Athletic or whatever. They will tell you. The reason I wanted to bring up the Oilers is because Connor McDavid was interviewed, of course, after game 6 or whatever it was, and said that they were just an average team with high expectations and When you get that, you are disappointed. He has been the best player in the league for several years now. He has at least two Hart trophies, I think, and 4 or 5 Art Ross trophies. He's got all the things you can have besides the Stanley Cup. And after going to the finals back to back, he is now further from the cup than he has been in a long time. The Oilers have some serious, serious questions to answer, and they can never seem to get the answers right. It's the goaltending, it's the defense, it's the depth, it's all this stuff. Well, Connor McDavid turns 30 years old in January. He's 29 and 100 whatever days. And in thinking about this and the way the distance the Oilers need to go to still win a cup with this guy who is the best player at his sport in the universe right now, as always, brings me back to the Islanders. And Matthew Schaefer, who is not Connor McDavid, but he had a spectacular season, could potentially be one of the best players in his position in the universe at some point. It shocked me and it shook me to think that we could have all these great hopes and have a average team that happens to have this spectacular player on it. And how long before Matthew Schaefer is almost 30 years old and we're looking for that first Stanley Cup? Maybe they've been to a final, maybe they haven't, but like, this stuff is hard, man. And the Oilers have been at this for a long time and they can never seem to get it right, despite having McDavid, despite having Leon Draisaitl, who is the third best player in the universe in this sport. So it's hard to do this. And it's shocking that this guy has gone this long without winning the ultimate prize in the sport. And now sometimes guys win it when they're old, I should say. Alexander Ovechkin being the best possible example. But like, a lot of times these guys win the cup when they're young. And I don't know, I just feel like McDavid almost serves as a cautionary tale for the Islanders and for us, that just because you have one great player on the team doesn't mean that you're just like earmarked for the Stanley Cup. I mean, we're going to talk about the Leafs too like that, but I don't know. I normally I would laugh at the Oilers getting bounced in the first round, particularly by an Anaheim team that's just a bunch of kids just kind of freewheeling out there and having fun. But this one really made me sit back and think, like, holy shit, like this could be us. Like, this could be us not too long from now, where we're like, man, how have they not won a cup yet? It's just, you could yell about Ken Holland and Stan Bowman and who was the guy before, Chiarelli and Kevin Lowe and all these guys, but just whoever's at fault it is. Again, that's a different topic for another show. But like, I don't know, it's somebody's fault, and they just haven't done it. And it's just crazy. And I just don't want Matthew Schaefer to have that fate for himself. And I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much about it. Maybe again, I'm still parsing through the Islanders' disappointment this season. But I normally, again, I would laugh, but I sat back and watched that McDavid presser and was like, damn, this is like really with Schaefer now, this feels totally different, I guess is how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all, and I thought the same thing. I've kind of been just it's been a theme of the season for us is like when, as we've said all along, like when you have these chances, you got to take them because you just don't really know how many you get. And the Oilers are and McDavid are a great kind of A to B to connect because not only do they have the best player in the world, he's been the best player in the world for almost a decade, maybe a decade now. And he's had as you said, between the third and eighth best player in the world, depending on the season, riding shotgun with him. And they've also now they have like Evan Bouchard, who's 90-point defenseman, whatever he did this year. And I know he's got his own issues, but still, so like they've got three things that you look at and you're like, well, that's the begin. It's really easy to fill in around that because you already got the three hard things to get on your team. And the Oilers haven't found a way, and part of it is, and a lot of it comes down to the front office and the mismanagement. And that's what's scary here is like you look at the Islanders right now, and what next season will look like, and even at the season beyond that, if you want to go that far. And you could see how this team sort of is what it is, in the same range of ceiling and floor that it's been since 2021. And then we're talking about Matt Schaefer being outside of his entry level deal and all that. But it doesn't go quick. But 6 years from now, 7 years from now, if the Islanders don't win a cup, we'll say, damn, those first 7 years of Matthew Schaefer went quick.
Right.
That's just how it works. And I'm sure that there's a ton of Oilers fans who are like, wow, our chance, their best chance of winning a Stanley Cup in my lifetime has passed me by. And
Mm.
unless they get lucky or have some things break their way over the next 2 years. And McDavid has put them on the clock as well, like, with that 2-year extension. And next
Right.
year, if they don't do anything next year, I mean, it seems very feasible that he tries to skip town. So
Sure.
it gets scary, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really good reminder that there's 31 other teams in the league. Just because you've got one of the best players in the league doesn't mean you're going to automatically beat those 31 teams. The Tampa Bay Lightning, I think, were one of the best teams in the league all season. They just got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. The Dallas Stars were one of the best teams in the league this entire season. They just got bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
Like, that's how it goes, man. It's just nothing is logical in hockey, whether you're talking about a single game of hockey, a single shift, or an entire season or an entire era. Like, nothing is logical. And it's very, very rarely straightforward. So I think it is like, we've made fun of the Devils hype wagon. We've made fun of the Sabres hype train a lot. Like, we've made fun of these teams that rebuilt and then were dubbed like the team. I mean, the Leafs were on the cover of the Hockey News as like future Stanley Cup, whatever. The futures, I can't remember what it was said, but like Plan the Parade. Plan the Parade is the name of the title, or the title of the issue, right? Like, that's not how it works. So it's I could see why that sent a shiver up your spine. And these playoffs have felt like that to me a lot. I'm like, ooh, I'm watching teams that I thought were going to win a Stanley Cup over the last 4 or 5 years, like, sort of have their eras end. Whether the Stars are now going to be in a little bit of a tricky situation.
Right.
Like we said, who knows what the Lightning look like next year? The Oilers, of course, like, so it's all, even the Penguins in a way, right? Like,
Yeah.
they had everything break right. They got into the playoffs in a house money season and were bounced in the first round by their bitter rivals. And everyone's already talking about, well, next year, there's no way they're going to be better next year. Like, it can't go better, right?
They had like 15 overtime losses this year, or whatever
it
was.
Yeah, like this entire, so yeah, it's all been awkward in that way, and not to be doom and gloom, because it could go the other way, of course. Right. But we're Islander fans. The show is called Islanders Anxiety. I've never seen the Islanders win a division. I've never seen them make a Stanley Cup final. I've seen them make 2 conference finals in my lifetime. I've seen them win like 6, 7 playoff rounds. Really, that's it. So of course I'm going to always default to the, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. Right. I can't believe we have this guy. How terrible is this? But I get it. And how can you not feel at least a little bit of that after the way the season ended? So hopefully it's a lesson to all involved, and definitely a lesson to the front office, that if you have someone like this to build a team around him, you gotta fucking still do the job. Yeah. You can't be like, oh no, we don't need a goalie. We'll just have Calvin Pickard.
Sure. Right.
Connor Ingram's. We don't need to upgrade at goalie because we got Tristan Jarry. Like, that's our upgrade. Like,
I'm sure Cam Talbot is good enough. Like,
right?
Yeah, is he though?
Had the Oilers. This is I think I said this last year on this podcast, or I've said it to people before. Had the Oilers traded for Semyon Varlamov when they were like those trade rumors, or will he walk, stay? He's like in his walk year. The Oilers have a Stanley Cup by now. Right, they just do. They if they had Semyon Varlamov, or a Semyon Varlamov level goaltender, they've won a Stanley Cup by now. Connor McDavid's won one. Instead, they've gone to Stanley Cup Finals with Stuart Skinner, Calvin Pickard, and then they tried to do it again with Pickard and Skinner. They traded Skinner for Jarry. Then they brought in Connor Ingram, who had a fine regular season, but you're gonna tell Connor McDavid, hey man, I know you want us to upgrade in goal, and but instead we did this. Like, what? It's
Yeah.
crazy. So I yeah, it's just it is a good reminder of just
Yeah.
this. Nothing is guaranteed, and
Yeah.
feel like we get told stuff the opposite quite a bit.
Yeah, no, doing the job is still important. And like that still means like evaluating players and evaluating their all of the aspects of them that go into it. And like they were having a conversation about this on What Chaos the other day, which is also a really great podcast for you. But like, Darnell Nurse is a totally fine NHL player that is making way too much money for way too many years. And like the Oilers just hitch their wagon to him, and every year he's like the whipping boy for whatever ails them, even when it's not his fault. And so like they got to get rid of this guy now. And at this point, they've invested so much time in him that it feels like a loss. And like you could trade him to San Jose because he will instantly be the best defenseman that San Jose has. But like, what are you going to get back for him? Like, not much. And it's like, so what does that even mean? And they fell in love with some of these guys to the point where they just hang on to them and give them so much. And it's just, they think that that's the guy, and it's not the guy. And so that's what I'm saying. It is hard. Like, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, it's easy to do this. You just have to, get a great player and then get the rest of it. It doesn't work that way. But I'm just saying that's like you said, time will go quickly, and you will look at it and you'll look back and be like, wow, that was a long time ago. But you can't just let this one great player, cover up all of the other issues. And I mean, we saw that with the Islanders almost in a truncated form this year. Like they just let Schaefer and Sorokin do all this work, and then they ended up missing the playoffs because they didn't do anything else to fix, these problems. And like they just figured that those guys would carry themselves, and it just doesn't work that way. So you just can't wait. You can't wait. You can't take the time to like evaluate and maybe this and maybe that and let this all play out. Go out and get those players and make the best of having these guys, and make this time with them count, because it comes and it goes. And like I said, the Oilers, they're screwed. Like they went from going to the first time they went to the final against the Panthers, you were like, wow, they have a really good shot at this. They go to game 7. I mean, they blew a lead, and they go to game 7, they lose. You're like, man, that was really rough. They go back. I don't think any of us thought the Oilers were going to beat the Panthers that second time. And in fact, the series was one game shorter than it was the year before. And now, again, they got a lot of problems. They're going to have to figure all this out. Are they going to fire the coach? Do they let go of Stan Bowman? Has he run his course out there? Then who's the general manager? Like, what do you even do there? I mean, it's just there. McDavid is further now from the Cup than he was at this time last year. And he was when he was basically in the Cup final. So it's rough. And I looked at him and I'm like, man, I do not want this for Matthew Schaefer. I want them to win a cup with this man and cement his legacy first, not wait until later.
Right. Yeah, that's another good way to put it.
Yeah,
It's like
just make him that player now, as opposed
right.
well, not now, but like soon rather than later, because later you don't know what's in later. Like you got to do it now. So
Right.
I don't know. It was a very different feeling for me.
Yeah,
watching
yeah, it was.
this
It is.
so.
I feel it was different. These playoffs, I feel like have just been feeling, because everyone's talking about like the changing of the guard and stuff, and there's definitely that going on too. So it does feel
Right.
weird not seeing like Bruins, Leafs, Lightning,
Right.
Panthers, and all that. But like, yeah, so it does. It's been a strange feeling, and
Yeah.
I think that what you were just saying too is why I was when Darsh said that thing earlier in the season where he's like, "Well, we don't need to win during his entry level contract." I was like, "We should still try."
Yeah. and I'll be honest, like at first I thought that line was kind of funny, because he was like, oh no, Steven Stamkos didn't win his 18th. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But this, after watching what happened with the Oilers and thinking about this journey that we've all been on with them this whole time, it made me really think that like, oof, no, sorry.
Yeah, you should try to win. Yeah, try to win. Next year or the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. Just keep trying to win. But yes, because it'll catch up to you quick, and it becomes harder the longer it goes, and you go. And I mean, I saw like a graphic too, just real quick about like every team's last trip to the Stanley Cup, and
Yes,
that was going around, and
yeah, I saw it too.
There's a lot of teams who've been to the Stanley Cup finals since 1984.
Yeah.
The Islanders aren't one of them. I mean, there's some funny teams that aren't either, but
yeah,
one in particular. But I just saw that and I was like, it's kind of unacceptable.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm looking at it right here, and this was going around, and so there are 4 teams that have never been to a Cup final. The
Yeah.
Wild, Blue Jackets, excuse me, 5 teams. The Wild, Blue Jackets, Kraken, Utah, Mammoth, and Winnipeg Jets / Atlanta Thrashers. So they have never been to a final. Of the teams that have been to a final, only 2 have not been there in the last 25 years. One are the Leafs, who have not been there since 1967, and the Islanders since 1984.
Right.
After that, actually 26 years, because the Sabres was 1999, the last time they were in a final, and frankly, they could be going to this year's final. So
Yeah.
that would wipe them off the board. But I thought the same thing. I'm like, holy crap! The last 26 years or so, everybody's been to a final, but the Leafs, Islanders, and these other expansion teams, basically, like that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That one hit like a ton of bricks. The McDavid
Yeah.
thing is starting to as well. Like,
Right.
because I used to just think, no, it's not that different from everyone. There are a
Right.
lot of teams that are in the same spot,
Yeah.
and in reality, there aren't. And
Yeah.
as you said, there's the expansion teams, and then there's the Leafs, and the Leafs are a different case because they are the richest team in the league. So it's
Yeah.
not like they had to deal with any of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a long time, and seeing these teams now clinching into the second round and getting ready for the third round, or whatever, going on these runs it's another reminder of just, boy, we've poured a lot into this team. We've poured a
Mm.
lot into this team, all Islander fans, and you just don't know. You just don't know
Yeah.
if they're even going to pay back even a little bit. So
I know. I mean, for Christ's sake, the Flames were into 2004
yeah,
Cup
that was
final.
a great. I loved that Stanley. I
I know,
remember
that was
like every second of that. The Ginla Lecavalier fight
yeah,
was just so much fun.
fantastic. Yeah, you
Mika
don't see
Kiprasov like just didn't let in any goals ever.
yeah. I mean, who expects Tampa Bay and Calgary to be in
Oh,
a Cup final together? Like, it's just crazy.
so good.
And also, the other funny thing that struck me about this infographic is that 2007 was the last time for both the Ducks and Senators who played each other in that final.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
just another fun one too. But that was much shorter than the Calgary Tampa one. So yeah, that was a sobering moment, to say the least. Was like, holy crap, it has been bad, and some of these teams have been bad too.
Right. Yeah,
but
that's
they've
the other
been to
thing.
the
Like,
finals.
you've seen like the Florida Panthers are the
Right.
model of the league now, and
Yeah.
there was
Sure.
5-6 years ago, everyone was like empty
Right.
seats, empty seats, empty
Yeah.
seats.
Dude, I was just talking shit about the Oilers under Ryan Smith, who were always
Right,
out of the
right.
playoffs, and he was going to the Worlds, and now again 2025 is right
Yeah,
here. It's just last
yeah.
year. So yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. So, and again, it will be crazier if the Sabres make it this year, which would be really funny. But yeah, I don't know. It was very sobering. So yeah, but I'm glad you brought this up, because yeah, between this and the McDavid thing, it's like, guys, it's been a long time, guys. I'm making the motion of tapping my wrist with my fingers here. Like, it's time. Like, let's get some payoff here. Let's get some real success happening here. But like you said, unfortunately, it's the off season.
Yeah.
So, with success, you can't win the Stanley Cup in October, but you can definitely lose it. So let's not. We've seen that movie play out too. So, but I hope that work is being done to get some real results here at some point. Okay, we are going to wrap this episode up. It's a little shorter for us, but it's been a long day. Today was my daughter's 16th birthday. You ran a 10K at Eisenhower Park yesterday. That's a lot. We deserve a break, and like I said, next week, no anxiety. It is also Mother's Day, so we're busy. I will be at the movies watching The Devil Wears Prada 2 with my wife and daughter. So there you go. Whatever you guys do, have a great time. And we will see you the week after actually next week we'll have a Weird Islanders podcast. Then the week after we'll have anxiety. So we'll be here, again, throughout the off season up until July 2nd when we do our season finale. And again, Master Leaf Theater coming out on Tuesday, or coming out on Wednesday. So we're going to record it Tuesday. It comes out on Wednesday. So check that out. Go to patreon.com/Islanders Anxiety for ad-free episodes, bonus podcasts, all that kind of stuff. But you can just join for free to get our weekly release calendar and enter our sweepstakes, which will have our drawing on July 2nd. Our theme song is Morning Haze by Family Dinner. Listen to more of their music on Spotify. Read Lighthouse Hockey every single day for your most up-to-date Islanders news and discussion. Islanders Anxiety Podcast are part of the Fans for Sports Network. Find us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Please leave us a review where you can. Shop VintageIceHockey.com. Try wines from the Pinot Project. Once again, we thank them for their prizes that they have provided for us for the sweepstakes. Mike, any final thoughts? We've covered a lot today in a very short period of time, which is very efficient by us. But anything you're thinking about that we haven't covered here?
No, no, I'm good. Good to go into the draft lottery and all that, and who knows? Maybe we are recording on an emergency podcast. You never know. There's a 4% chance. So
I mean, we didn't think we were going to do one last year. And,
yeah, that's true.
we ended up doing exactly that, and then people got mad at us because we said the wrong thing. But it's all good now, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page now, so that's all
Yeah.
that matters. But anyway, enjoy the lottery. Enjoy the week. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks, but Great Weird Islanders coming out next Friday. So check that out. And again, we'll talk to you again, on Wednesday with our Master Leaf Theater. So if you enjoy that, go for it. All right. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.